Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're very happy, always happy, when Swami Sarvadevananda is with us. You all know him, of course. He's been here so many times through the years. He's not only the head of our Vedanta Society of Southern California, but of all of the branches throughout the country, including us. So this is a great joy when Swamiji comes. It's a very special day today. This is the Mahalaya and Swami Akhandananda's birthday. So we're very happy, doubly happy Swamiji's here. And he has a very beautiful topic to speak on today. The Ochina Gach. This is the tree that everyone knows it's a tree, but they don't know what kind of tree it is. It's a phrase that Thakur himself used about the avatar. So Maharaj, please, we'll be very happy to hear the very interesting topic.
Om Yang Brahma Burunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunanti Dibbaistavaihi Vedai Shanga Parakrama Upanishadaihi Gayanti Yang Samagaha Dhyana Bastita Tadgatina Manasha Pashyanti Yang Yogino Jasyantang nabidu sura suragana Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Our salutations to that Supreme Being who is one without, but whose limitless and infinite glory none can comprehend, but again whom the sages and devotees realize within their hearts in the deepest contemplation. Him we salute again and again. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So it is a great joy to be here with our dear devotees, and the Swami is so welcoming all the time. We find a great joy whenever we come over here, and also to get your company, the company of the devotees. Now today is a auspicious day, Mahalaya, day of Mahalaya is also the birthday of Swami Akhandananda. So we'll think about this Sri Ramakrishna and the concept of avatar. In the Gospel of Ramakrishna, we read in one place that he is talking to M, the apostle. So M is conversing with Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna is talking about avatara, what is avatara, how avatara manifests, how it is difficult to understand. So in that conversation, Sri Ramakrishna says, have you ever heard of a tree? It's called Achina. There is a tree called by that name, Achina, unrecognizable. But nobody knows what it is. So Sri Ramakrishna is talking about that a tree, there is a tree which people see but cannot understand what is the speciality of that tree or what is the really that tree is. So we look at Ramakrishna or we look at the incarnations, but we cannot and do not recognize that avatar. He looks like us, he talks like us, walks like us. And it is very difficult. Only pure souls, that we chanted, Dhyana avasthita tadgatena manasha when they get into deeper contemplation, and with the mind, they don't find the beginning and end of it. Just santang na vidu, endless, beginningless glory of the Lord. Sura, Suragana, all even gods and angels, they cannot find, they cannot recognize, they cannot understand the glory of that reality which is called incarnation. So here we find that Sri Ramakrishna then expressing this idea, that he indicating to himself that tree which is achina, unrecognizable. M then started thinking about this. Likewise, as Ramakrishna says, there is a tree called that name, achina, unrecognizable, but nobody knows what it is. After this statement, M is thinking in his mind, M. Likewise, telling Sri Ramakrishna, likewise it is not possible to recognize you. The more a man understands you, oh, it should be up, no? Okay. It's too close.
Sorry.
Okay? Yeah. Likewise, it is not possible to recognize you. The more a man understands you, the more uplifted he will be. That is the aim's expression to Ramakrishna, seeing that it is you are talking about yourself as it were, and his achina tree is you. That's why it is not possible to recognize you. And it's for all future generation to record this word. The more a man understands you, the more uplifted he will be in the spiritual life. That means to know an incarnation, to intimately think of him, get absorbed in his thoughts, even thinking of his divine form will be able to uplift humanity. M was silent. Then he said to himself, quote, the master referred in this conversation to the sun at dawn. Avatara is like we cannot look at the bright, blazing, fiery sun in the midday. But when the sun rises, then everyone, it is so pleasing. That's why it is said that Avatara is like a rising sun. This glory. It's attraction. So in the conversation, Sri Ramakrishna talked about the sun at the dawn, as it were. Avatara is like that. So the master referred to that conversation and says, to the sun at dawn and the tree unrecognizable by man. Did he mean an incarnation of God? Is this the play of God through man? Is the Master himself an incarnation? Was this why he cried to the devotees from the roof of the kuti, where are you, come to me? It is all reflection in the mind of M, the writer of the Gospel. It is very introspective, as if he is bringing before our awareness to understand Ramakrishna. It's like the rising sun, whose beauty is attraction and charm, whose power to redeem or remove the darkness of ignorance. Given an example of the rising sun. Or talking about the tree unknown. Is he mentioning himself? And is he mentioning that he is the Avatara? Is he come for the redemption of the all? Is he restless to give freedom to others, crying, come, come, come. I cannot stay without you. And they're standing on the roof of the kuti, the music tower. No? We find that similar cry comes whenever God incarnates. Christ said, Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavily laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. It's a beautiful parallel idea. Come, 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 Sri Ramakrishna is calling. And that call goes, and few response to that call who are ready. Here also we find that Christ is saying, come unto me. Who will come? Who feel the burden, the labor of life. It is heavy. And I will give you rest. That is the Lord comes down to give rest to the souls which are suffering and in ignorance. And sometimes they talk about themselves. That is the glory of incarnation. Sometimes they say, I am that. I have incarnated. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says that Manmana bhavo madbhakto bhavo madjaji mang namaskuru mameva yashasi yat mameva yashasi yat evam atmanam matparayanam. So it is talking as if he is egotistic person. He says, Manmana bhavo, give your whole mind to me. And who are you? You look like ordinary man. No, manmana bhavo, mad bhakto bhavo, mad jaji, mang namaskuru, maame vaishwasi. If you can, you will reach me if you become identified with me only. And also in the Bhagavad Gita you see here that Bhagavan says that abhujananti mang murha. They look at me and they ignore me or they don't understand me. Who am I? Why? Because manushing tanumastritam. Because I take a human body and then move like a human personality. And they do not know parang bhavam ajananto. Not knowing my parama bhava, the supreme state of reality. That Bhuto, I am the Lord of the I am the Bhuta Maheshwar. I am the Mahaishwara, the great Lord of the entire creation. Anything has been created in the universe, I am the Lord of that. People don't understand. He's saying, glorifying his real nature so that we can catch him, understand him. He looks like human, but he is not human. He is the Bhuta Maheshwara. Ramakrishna looks like that. He is not an ordinary person, but he is the Lord of the universe. So this is a remarkable aspect of the incarnations. When they come, they give glimpses. They are very humble. Ramakrishna, other places, he says, I am the dust of the devotees, or what is the feet of all the devotees, dust at the feet. At the same time, he is the Lord of the universe. Swami Vivekananda says, Kurmas taraka charvanam tribhuvanam utpataya amubalat. Kingbo no bijanannasi Ramakrishna dasabhayam. To Vivekananda, this Ramakrishna is such a powerful thing because I am a servant of Ramakrishna. Do you know who I am? I can crush the stars, unhinge the earth and throw away into the void. No? This is Ramakrishna. Who will understand? See, looking at him, so simple, so ordinary. So that is very difficult. That's why achinatri. That's why unrecognizable. Looking at the human aspect. When even the gods and goddesses with 10 weapons in the hand, we understand there is special power. But looking at Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Christ, no? Very difficult to understand. That's why he is unrecognizable. Even abhyaktam bhaktimapannam mannante mamabuddhayo. Those people who are illiterate, not knowing, having not the right knowledge of buddhi, they bhaktimapannam, because they have taken a human body, mannante mam bhaktim. They think that I am a human personality. Parang bhavama janantu, they don't know my eternal state, supreme state. What is that? Momo abhaya, that absolute state, they don't understand. Anamaya tatamidam sarvam, I permeate everything. Jagat, in this entire world, in the abhakta murti, in the form which is not manifest, unmanifested form, I permeate everything. Masthani sarva bhutani, everything rests in me. This Ramakrishna is that very difficult. How to understand? That's why Nacha, I am the Gati, I am the Bharta, I am the ultimate goal of human or all the whole universe. I am the Bharta, I maintain and sustain everything. I am the Lord of the universe, Prabhu. I am the Sakshi, eternal witness. I mean Nibasho, I am the abode on which everything rests. I am the cause, Prabhava, everything comes out of me, Pralayo, everything merges into me. I am the cause of Nidhanam Bijam Abhayam. I am the eternal seed of creation and recreation. This is the glory of incarnation. Sometimes we are fortunate that they express themselves in this way, so that we sometimes look at them not a little ordinary, but we try to think that they are something special. Christ said, the same way you look at that, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. An ordinary man telling, I am the light of the world. You are crucified and you have been treated like ordinary, judged by the people like ordinary person. And he says, I am the light of the world. Yes, sometimes God is gracious. When they come as incarnation, they express themselves so that we can catch. I am the way, I am the truth and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So, yes, as if so egotistic person is talking. This is the only for the devotees who will be charmed by these expressions and try to find a way to get out of the sufferings of life. I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. So we find that Christ is talking like that, Bhagavan Krishna is talking like that. And Sri Ramakrishna also says sometimes, and he does not say I much. That is the special beauty of Ramakrishna. Here he says, but he says, do you know what God with form is like? It's like a bubbles rising on an expanse of water. Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna says, do you know what God? God with form, God without form we know. It is limitless, it is beginningless, endless, all those things. Ajo Abhaya. To rise out of the great akasha of consciousness. It is all Ramakrishna saying. The incarnation of God is one of these forms. So he's giving the idea how to understand that infinite becomes finite. God comes down, Bhagavan Shankara says, it is coming down of God. When he comes, whenever there is a need, he comes down again and again. And he says here that it is like God in the form is like bubbles rising in an infinite expanse of water. Think of the infinite ocean, and out of that there arises these forms of great akasha of consciousness. The incarnation of God is one of these forms. The primordial energy sports, as it were, through the activities of divine incarnation. The Mahashakti, the Adya Shakti, that Shakti is sporting in this world, and that greatest expression is the divine incarnation avatar. So this is the idea about incarnation, God descending as a human being. Seeing incarnation, Ramakrishna says, seeing an incarnation of God is same as seeing God himself. It's a great statement. If we have little faith, then it will make a difference in our life. He says that seeing an incarnation, we see an incarnation. It's a photograph. That God in Samadhi, if one can see that, is seeing God with eyes open. So that Sri Ramakrishna says, seeing an incarnation of God is the same as seeing God himself. Rishis followed the path of Jnana, but those who follow the path of devotion seek incarnation of God. Non-dual people, they go to see the reality as timeless, spaceless, beyond all conception. But the devotees, they seek incarnation of God to enjoy the sweetness of bhakti. And only 12 rishis could recognize Rama. See, it is another aspect of divinity, that to enjoy the spirit of God, they are following the path of devotion, they seek the incarnation of God. That's why the gopis and the Krishna is so eternal play of the divine, pleases the heart of all. That's why it is called the sages have been born as the gopis, to enjoy the sweetness of bhakti. The incarnation, Ramakrishna says in another place, the incarnation is the ardor, the only place milk is to be got. There is great accumulation of divinity in an incarnation, like the accumulation of fish in a deep hollow lake. So incarnation is, we can find milk everywhere, God is everywhere. But where it is torrentially coming out, that milk of sweetness, of love, of compassion, of holiness, of purity, that infinite grace, that is the avatar. So incarnation is like the ardor, the only place milk is to be got. There is a great accumulation of divinity in an incarnation. It is like accumulation of fish, etc. God sports in the world as man. He incarnates himself as man, as in the case of Krishna, Rama, Chaitanya. If one seeks God, you must seek him in the incarnation. Ordinary people, or even people who are following the path of any path, the worshipping God through an incarnation, the spiritual practice becomes much easier. And Sri Ramakrishna says, God sports in the world as man. He incarnates himself as man, as in the case of Krishna, as Krishna played as Rama, as Chaitanya. And if you seek God, you must seek him in incarnation. So much emphasis on incarnation. One needs spiritual practice. Now, who can understand an incarnation? To whom it will appeal? Sri Ramakrishna guides here. One needs spiritual practice in order to know God and recognize divine incarnation. To recognize divine incarnation, it needs purity of the heart and sadhana. Now Sri Ramakrishna also, in his description, he talks about incarnation. When the discussion came, Ramakrishna is being preached by Girish Ghosh and others, talking about that he is an incarnation. This question came when Mathur Babu was also there. So he is practicing all disciplines and is a good person, but he is not aware of the outside world. So when Bhairavi Brahmani came as a guru and found in him all the signs of an incarnation, so Mathur Babu said, he ridiculed at that idea. Because he is man of science, so he does not want to believe that a human being looking like us will be God himself. It is too much to think. Even the Dr. Sarkar, he used to come and check on Sri Ramakrishna's cancer, and used to say, this is a good guy, why are you making him an incarnation and making him crazy? That means he is thinking it is incarnation. They are one actor and one doctor. What they understand about incarnation? The Gauri Pandit and others already have told much earlier about the incarnation. So that story is that we all know that in the meeting was called of the scholars, Pandits of that time. And then in that meeting, Sri Ramakrishna was present and Bhairavi Brahmani was describing the symptoms of the seeing at the person of Ramakrishna and saying this is possible only in an incarnation. And he proved it. And after that proving, Gauri Pandit is a great scholar, first proclaimed Ramakrishna as an avatar in Dakshineshwar. And the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna ultimately renounced the world. The impact of Sri Ramakrishna was such, not only Gauri Pandit, the great scholar of the time, understood Ramakrishna as avatar, but he also renounced the life, ordinary life, and take a path of sannyas. Vaishnava Charan, he is a famous Pandit, the leader of Vaishnava society. He declared in agreement with Bhairavi Brahmani, Sri Ramakrishna had undoubtedly experienced Mahabhava, a sign of rare manifestation of God in man. Gauri, then Vaishnava Charan said, no, Gauri Pandit also said that. Then commenting on that, Vaishnava Charan says, Gauri, is that all Vaishnava Charan did say about you, Ramakrishna? Then he has said very little. I am fully convinced that you are that mine of spiritual power, only a small fraction of which descends on earth from time to time as incarnation. These are all very illuminating knowledge to know about the glory of Ramakrishna. He is saying here that Gauri said that this is the only Vaishnava Charan could understand him as avatar, but he is the avatari from whom the avatar comes. That's why he says, is that all Vaishnava Charan say about you, Ramakrishna? Then Vaishnava Charan has understood very little of you. And I, as Gauri Pandit, declare that you are the mine of spiritual power, the mine of spiritual power which occasionally from whom one spark comes down, a small fraction of which descends as avatar. Anyhow, this is a very great subject to understand. It is only pure souls can understand that. But we need to understand this much, that God comes down as human being for the redemption of all. Girish Ghosh said the same thing. The spiritual power, there is a difference between ordinary sadhaka and an incarnation. People sometimes made equal. They make Ramakrishna, Christ, Buddha as also any saint, any saintly person, the same rank. It is to be understood, avatars are only very rare. They come in hundreds, 500 years gap. I always not that, but actually a great gap is there between one incarnation and another incarnation. What is the glory of an incarnation? Ordinary saints also, they have realized God, but incarnation also comes. What is the greatness of incarnation, or what is the sign of an incarnation? That incarnation, as the time goes on, the glory of incarnation spreads more and more and more to hundreds and thousands and millions of people. Saintly people have their impact in a localized place, no? But Christ is remembered 2000 years, Buddha remembered 2500 years, Rama remembered 5000 years, Krishna is flooding the world, and in India thousands of years. So as time passes, the glory becomes more manifest. That is the sign of incarnation. And many people get redemption, freedom. They can go above the bondage of suffering and pain of life. They find a true path to survive in the world. Why incarnation comes? Because they lead a life and keeps some activity, because he is in human being, personality, interaction, and those are the source of inspiration for thousands of years. The question may come, if God comes down, what is the use of God's coming down? He is the Lord of creation. He can change all of our mind and we can be free at this moment. Why then he has to come back himself, taking this difficult task of enduring all the sufferings of cancer or crucifixion or diabetes, all these diseases? Why? What is the purpose? Purpose is that he comes down and leads a life like us to make an example. It's like a pole star. People can follow the Krishna's divine play, Rama, his divine play, Christ, his life and his all the dealings that inspires people. Ramakrishna's every movement becomes a source of spiritual joy to the seekers of God, and his every word gives an inspiration how to overcome the sufferings of life and to get established in our spiritual dignity. So these are the purpose of his coming. And in the midst, and they show a life how to endure suffering, endure pain and suffering in life, and how to overcome them with great strength and courage. So we find that Ramakrishna is talking about himself as Achina tree, and also he is talking about those great personalities who lived before and who came only for the redemption of the suffering humanity. Ramakrishna, as we heard, he was saying that Gauri Pandit was saying that he is the fraction, all the other incarnations are fractions of which descend on the earth from time to time. Ramakrishna is that source. Here, sometimes we make a distinction between one incarnation and the other incarnation. We must not have that type of feeling, because it is the same Lord comes down and exercises this power of redemption, how much is needed, what type of situation is there. So God expresses his infinite power to that extent necessary for that age. Rama came, he had to fight with bow and arrow and kill the demons and ghosts and so many beastly, animalistic ghosts and goblins. Then Krishna came, he has to fight and kill so many demons. When Ramakrishna came, no weapon in hand, but there is a big weapon, Gada, and the love, the purity, the extraordinary life of saintliness, purity, by that, and creating this philosophy of harmony of all religion. So these are the special purpose for their coming, and the decline, whenever that decline of religion comes, God comes. That is our Gita statement. Lord of the world comes again and again for no need of their own. Saprayajana abhave upi. But bhuta anujigriksha, for the welfare of the, or being compassionate to the created beings. And this they teach us. He comes in the disguise, as is the Lord of the universe comes to see with his whole power, energy, knowledge, wisdom, being together, but he comes and behaves like an ordinary. We see that Ramakrishna is the Jagannath, one story. And one time Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda, was in Puri Jagannath's place, and he was going to see the Jagannath Dev. And he saw, suddenly on the steps, up in the steps, he saw Ramakrishna standing. And he's with a garland in his neck. And seeing that, he prostrated, forgetting about who is there around. And by that, when he stood up, and then Sri Ramakrishna's vision stopped. Anyhow, he went into the, Hari Maharaj went in the Jagannath's temple, and to his surprise he found, going to Jagannath's, the two hands are like this, the same garland is hanging on the two hands of the Jagannath, which he saw in the neck of Ramakrishna. That means it proves that Jagannath is Ramakrishna. I am not trying to prove anything, but just this is a story to know. And today we have, because it is Swami Akhandanandaji's birthday, so we recall this story of the centenary year, in the year 1936, when 100 years of centenary was celebrated by Belur Math, and Swami Akhandananda Maharaj was the president and the committee president also. So in January 1936, then Miss Josephine MacLeod, an intimate American admirer of Vivekananda, went to Sargachi Ashram, where Swami Akhandananda used to live. They sat on the floor of the temple. Akhandananda Swami and MacLeod, they are sitting in the Sargachi Ashram in Murshidabad, in the floor, and they are talking about Vivekananda. Towards the end of their conversation, Miss MacLeod said to Akhandananda Swami, "Please let me have your message for the centenary." They want it. The committee want it, and that was the president's message will be given to the whole world as presidential message from the Ramakrishna Math, Belur Math, to all the world centers. The Swami replied, "Well, I have thought over it and come to this conclusive question. What centenary can there be for him who is without beginning and end? Amar abar শতবার্ষিকী কিরে, আমি তো জন্মহীন মৃত্যুহীন। কি আশ্চর্য! What a surprising statement. He felt that Sri Ramakrishna's centenary we are celebrating is a man. He is birthless. He is deathless. He is the Satchidananda. So, how can it be a centenary of that birthless, deathless Brahman? Miss MacLeod then replied, she was very intelligent. She said, "Very well, then this message I shall carry." This is the message of centenary, Ramakrishna's centenary message. And bidding him goodbye, MacLeod went back to by that evening train to Calcutta. The inaugural day of the centenary was fast approaching, and letters from Calcutta were reaching Swami Akhandananda almost every day, requesting his presidential message. Every one morning, while it was still dark, and he was delaying that every time. And one day, early one morning, while it was still dark and he was meditating, he heard a voice. Saying, "Write this down." That means Sri Ramakrishna is dictating his own message, no? So that's why it is interesting. We have not the whole script, we didn't get it, but a portion is here, that's why I'll read to you all. Write this down. Then he lit a candle and took on his writing material and wrote in Bengali. What he wrote, it is a part of that. He wrote as if the voice is telling Akhandananda Swami to write about the centenary of Ramakrishna. What he says, this time the Lord was born in a heart. His superhuman austerities, his sadhana and its culmination, the extraordinary power and realization all took place on the sacred bank of the Ganga, under the wide-spreading boughs of Panchavati and the bell tree. The Sikh sentinels who kept guard over the government powder magazine with drawn swords just to the north of the sacred Dakshineshwar had the enviable good fortune to witness the various sadhanas of the Lord which were hidden from other people. He's talking about the Sikh. They used to guard the gunpowder factory. They are the witness of Sri Ramakrishna's sadhana. They saw Ramakrishna night time going, whole night meditating. They are the witness. And these are the Sikh people who went to Calcutta and first informed the Marwaris, the rich people, and they came to know Ramakrishna, and to them, that's a beautiful history. We get it from Akhandananda Swami's own revelation. It is a revelation to Akhandananda Swami. He is not writing, he is dictated by some Sri Ramakrishna himself, as it were, and the truth is coming out. It is from these Sikh guards that the Lord came to be known by the public, that is the Marwaris of Bada Bazar. It was at the Panchavati, when a bullock was being beaten, that he cried out in pain, "They are beating me." When a bullock was being beaten and a welt was seen across his back, here it was that he fell to the ground as he saw a heavy log being dragged across field of tender grass. This is the culmination of universal love. What a beautiful experience he is talking about. When someone is beating a bull, Ramakrishna is feeling the pain in his back. When someone is pulling a log over the grass, Sri Ramakrishna is crying. He fell to the ground. Ramakrishna fell to the ground, and he saw a heavy log being dragged across the field of tender grass. These are the symptoms, the culmination of universal love. It is only possible. The grass is in pain, Ramakrishna is feeling the pain. The bull is being beaten, Ramakrishna is feeling that. And there are other stories also, but these two stories are very unique here. That blessed day is not far off, when we shall be illumined by His glory through the Lord's wonderful harmony of all religious ideas, the paths of action, knowledge, devotion and meditation. The human race is advancing knowingly or unknowingly towards salvation. That blessed day is coming when peace will reign all over the world, when all humanity at the Lord's call will shun petty quarrels, will hold on to truth, and with its inspiration make known with trumpet voice of the Lord's message as many paths, so many faiths, and gather under the banner of the new age. Then will the whole world be blessed by realizing the purpose of the Lord's advent. This is my fervent prayer. Swasti, swasti, swasti. Peace be to the world. And that was the message sent out. But for want of time, only the concluding part was translated into English and circulated throughout the world. So this is the story connected with Swami Akhandananda. We recall it. Ramakrishna, the unrecognizable, unrecognizable tree, Achine tree. Let us pray for devotion and love for this avatar. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Very beautiful subject. Very nice way to begin this Mahalaya Navaratri period. So, Maharaj, I'm so thankful that you could come and spend a few days here. Swamiji will be with us until Wednesday morning. So, everyone is invited to come for a satsang and potluck dinner the remaining nights that he's here. And now we will have a song by Pratishta. And then after that, we'll all sing Ramakrishna Sharanam together.
तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरेरितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदततं भुवि गिरन्ति भूरिदा जना भुवि गिरन्ति भूरिदा जना. This is a song from Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. Dwell, O mind, within yourself. Enter no other's home. If you but seek there, you will find all you are searching for. Apnate apne theko mon apnate apne theko mon tumi jeo na ko karo ghore apnate apne theko mon ja chabi তা বসে পাবে, যা চাবি তা বসে পাবে, শুধু খোঁজনি অন্তঃপুরে, আপনাতে আপনি থেকো পরম ধনই পরশমণি, যা চাবি তা দিতে পারে, পরম ধনই পরশমণি, যা চাবি তা দিতে পারে, কত মনি পড়ে আছে, কত মনি পড়ে আছে, সেই চিন্তামণি নাচ দুয়ারে, আপনাতে আপনি থেকো তীর্থ গমন শুধু দুঃখ ভ্রমণ, মনু চাটন করো না রে, তীর্থ গমন শুধু দুঃখ ভ্রমণ, মনু চাটন করো না রে, আনন্দ ত্রিবেণীর স্নানে, আনন্দ ত্রিবেণীর স্নানে, শীতল হনা মূলাধারে, আপনাতে আপনি থেকো কি দেখো কমলা কান্ত, মিছে বাজি এসো সারে, কি দেখো কমলা কান্ত, মিছে বাজি এসো সারে, সেই বাজি করে চিনলে না রে, সেই বাজি করে চিনলে না রে, সে যে তোমার ঘটে বিরাজ করে, আপনাতে আপনি থেকো মনে, তুমি যেও না কো কারো ঘরে আপনাতে আপনি থেকো মন। যা চাবি তা বসে পাবি, যা চাবি তা বসে পাবি, শুধু খোঁজনি অন্তঃপুরে। আপনাতে আপনি থেকো মন। আপনাতে আপনি থেকো মন। ওম নিরঞ্জনং নিত্যমনন্তরূপং ভক্তানুকম্পাধিত বিগ্রহং বৈ ঈশাবতারং পরমেশ মিঢং তং রামকৃষ্ণং শিরসা নমামি।
Jai